All right, I'm gonna do a quick review on this book. Very brief. I'm not gonna read the whole book, obviously, but this is a book that you're gonna see a lot of times. If you look up dog training books or body language, if you do some kind of Google search, you're probably gonna come across this book right here as one of the search results. That's my dog Jax eating his dinner right now. But I decided to go ahead and buy this book. I went to a seminar, and it was actually one of the APDT workshops, and they had this book out for sale on one of their shops. And I read this whole book, and I've used it several times since as a point of reference. And it is an excellent book. There are reviews that say that it's a little bit outdated, that the information is mostly pertaining to wolves, not so much to dogs. And I get that those are valid for sure. Those reviews where people say those things are valid. I get it. I understand where it's coming from. But I do want to stress the fact that yes, wolves and dogs obviously they're not the same. They're but their form of communication is still pretty identical. Yes, they are different in many ways, but they are also incredibly similar. They're still use very similar forms of communication, identical forms of communication, and it's an excellent book. Just to read you a few quotes that I highlighted. Nothing in life is free, and nothing is free from consequence. So throughout the book, you will find little insights here and there that are very valuable. So there's another one. What makes a social animal special in its ability to compromise, to win and lose, and still get the best out of every situation. That's just a couple of quotes. There is more to the book. Obviously, it's not just filled with quotes like that. But the way it's set out, it talks about certain things in detail, and it kind of tells you where it comes from. So to see if we could go ahead and get started. So it talks about dominance and submission. It breaks it down almost from a biological, scientific perspective, what those terms mean. And I know I'm not doing justice to the book by briefly talking about it. The best way to obviously get a real or um, a more accurate sense of the book is to read it yourself. But throughout the book, you also see these graphs, right? These visual references, and it explains to you, how it increases, what they mean, and you find that throughout the book. So it is set out almost like it's an encyclopedia, like a dictionary type thing. So it just gives you terms in an alphabetical order. So something as simple as barking, right? So it kind of talks about barking, what it means, more visual references. I personally love this book. It's an excellent book. Naturally, when you read this book, you are going to notice that the studies that this gentleman did was primarily on wolves. He has spent the bulk of his life studying that. He has done also some work with dogs, but a lot of it is on wolves. A lot of the references here are going to be, wolves. And this is where people go, dogs and wolves are not the same. It's outdated and all of this. But I look at a wolf and I look at a dog, and the body language, the forms of communication are still very relevant. See, you see more reference, and one of my favorite quotes. Put this on my page. It's right here. When it talks about children and dogs. And no, that's about it. It won't necessarily tell you how to train a dog, but if you do work with dogs or you work with animals on a consistent basis, it's an excellent aid, an excellent training aid. So I highly recommend it. The visual reference alone is very helpful for sure. So if you read this book, go ahead and let me know what you thought of it. Whether you liked it, didn't like it, or if you found some things that you really loved about the book. But yeah, awesome book.